So you mentioned the Intensive English Language Center where you were for 30 years. Can you tell us more about that program and uh, what what you did there? You mentioned a little bit about your roles, but maybe can you talk
Yeah.
about the progress?
So, right, the Intensive English Language Center was started in about 1982 because they found a need for a place for students who were coming to the University of Nevada, Reno to study, to get a master's or a bachelor's or a PhD, to improve their English or to study English. And so Lee Thomas started the program. She was the first director, followed by Deirdre Vineyard, the second director. And they started recruiting or trying to find connections with different schools.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest connection started in Japan in 1988. And really, they were the first students that came. And for the longest time, when I first started teaching there in 89, uh, the class was 100% Japanese students,
Oh, wow.
which was very interesting, which was fine, but it's kind of um, nice. I mean, when it's homogeneous, it's a little bit easier because everybody has the same needs, and
Mm-hmm.
you're um, teaching towards that language in a sense. And then, but it's also, it would also be nice to have different students because these students were coming from Japan. They knew each other and they were with each other. So they did a great job, recruiting other schools.
Mm-hmm.
Japan was our biggest recruiting place, but we ended up by the time I think 1995, 98, we had a good number of students from all over the world. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and we got connected with USAC,
Mm-hmm.
the study abroad program. And so a lot of their students would come for 1 semester or 2 semesters. So we had a steady influx of Chilean students in spring,
Mm-hmm.
Costa Ricans in summer, um, and then Japanese in fall and spring. And then individuals coming. We've had students from Switzerland. We've had students from the Middle East,
Mm-hmm.
Saudi Arabia. We had big groups of Saudi Arabians for a while when they had the SACM program, and
Mm-hmm.
then we had a big group from um, Brazil when they had the BSMP. So whenever the governments would send their students, we would get them in our program. So we did end up having students from all over the world, and the main goal was to prepare them for English. Most of the students were moving on to the university or to the college, Truckee Meadows Community College.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of them were also just there for a semester to gain some cultural understanding and to live and experience the dorms
Mm-hmm.
and the campus, an American campus. And boy, did they do that. I mean, a lot of students had a great time and
Mm-hmm.
came and went, and um, then their brothers or sisters came after them. So
Yeah.
it was a really nice place. It was, we had it felt like a family because we were their home away from home and their safe place,
Mm-hmm.
so that when they moved forward, then they did learn a lot about the culture, and
Mm-hmm.
so they had some experience, and then they didn't feel alone.
Right,
We were
right.
there. We helped them in every way. I mean, we had activities, of course, orientation at the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
activities through the wazoo. We had such a good time. So, and that was going to be one of my questions with you. Basically, the nice thing about it, and like I said, the people that worked there really felt like a family. And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
only talking about the students, but the staff
Yeah.
and the faculty. And, a lot of the activities or a lot of the things that we did was involving our families
Mm-hmm.
with the students. And so I think it benefited everybody.
Yeah.
They actually knew how American people lived, because they had been to our houses.
Mm-hmm.
They knew about Halloween because we took them to, Silver Legacy that had the, Halloween scary, whatever experiences that they had. But also our kids benefited
Mm-hmm.
because they got to learn about different cultures and different ways of doing things or thinking
Yeah.
about things.
Yeah, that
So it was very nice. It was a very nice place to work. And
mhm.
then being at UNR, which is what students wanted, a campus life, and was fantastic. You know, we
Mhm.
had a great relationship with the university and the different departments with the university. We were able to work with, you know, cashier and admissions and records and the Office of International Students and Scholars. And so again, our students were well taken care of
Mhm.
and you know, I think appreciated that.
Yeah, definitely. And to go back what you're talking about when you mentioned families, that did have a really big impact on my life. I did get to meet different people. You know, when I was super young, they were older and I could look up to
Right.
them and learn about their culture. And then as I, started to catch up in age, it was just kind of cool to make friends who grew up in different countries, whose educational system was different, and just learning from them and, experiencing
Mm-hmm.
activities. Like we'd go up to Lake Tahoe, and I remember all those times. So those are really good memories for me too. And I know that it must have been for them.
I don't know if you remember, but you also worked at the IELC for a while when Deirdre was the director, and um, I think having been or grown up with them, you kind of also knew what, you know, how to be sympathetic or empathetic to
Mm-hmm.
the, you know, struggles that they were having and the excitements also. It's really exciting to be in another country, and
Mm-hmm.
you've experienced it because you've gone to another country. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's the same. Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember working there. It was a great environment. There was a lot. You had the educational side, you had the cultural side, um, the relational aspect of
Hmm.
it. So yeah, it was a great job, and I learned a lot there. I feel like it was too short of a time that I worked there, but it definitely. And I just enjoyed working with the other student workers because a lot of them just seemed open minded and excited to learn and meet people from other countries. And I think a lot of them ended up either studying abroad or traveling as
Yeah,
a result.
exactly. They were interested in everything international. I mean, those are the ones that tended to be, and the ones that didn't. I mean, we've had some that did not know another language, or they started getting interested in that, and
Hmm.
so you know, I think yeah, the students have learned a lot, and they've given a lot to our students. But here was the other thing, the nice thing about having these students, it wasn't only a place for our students to learn and grow,
Hmm.
but also for American students, because not all American students are able to study abroad
Right.
and may never have the opportunity to meet someone from a different culture. And
Hmm.
you know, so there was that aspect of our students being on campus with the other international students already studying at the university,
Hmm.
so for them to meet someone. And we also had a program called the Conversation Program,
Hmm.
which matched an American student with an international student. And usually we try to match someone, for example, that was studying Spanish with this, you know, Spanish speaking student.
Right.
So, you know, that also helped the American student to learn the language in a more natural way,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, definitely. And the reason it was called Intensive English Language Center, was it because it was so intensive because they were living in the culture, or do you know how that came
It
about?
was because that's all they did. That
Hmm.
was their course of study.
Okay.
They studied 20 hours a week. They had three different courses, Monday through Friday.
Hmm.
And so it was intensive. So the students that came to us came on an F1 visa,
Okay.
which is the visa required for people studying in the United States. So for students at the university level, they usually have to study 12 credits. They have to be in 12 credits in order to be a full time student.
Hmm.
For our students, they had to be in class 20 hours a week in
Okay.
order to be considered full time students. So that's why it's intensive. It was every day, you
Hmm.
know, 3 or 4 hours a day, um, every week. And then after their studies, we had activities. Most of the time, Saturday, Sunday, we left them to fend for themselves.
Yeah.
But we always had something going. Summer was great because
Hmm.
we always had like Art Town
Mm-hmm.
downtown. So we would take them, just again, we would take them for them to know that there is something like that that they can go to, and then they would go on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Downtown was really close. Or we've taken them to the Automobile Museum. We've taken them to Lake Tahoe,
Mm-hmm.
of course, and Virginia City. And so we got to not only um, have them experience the campus and Reno, which
Mm-hmm.
is a beautiful city, but also the surroundings
Mm-hmm.
which they lived.
Yeah.
So yeah, they 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 loved it. I
Yeah.
have a lot of pictures that I'm kind of going through that really it was a fun time.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah,
have kind of an estimate of how many students might have gone through the program over
yeah,
30 plus
yeah.
years? No. A lot
I
though.
mean, think about we. Yeah, shoot.
We should do the math and then
We should do the
I'll
math.
add
Yeah,
it.
it would be interesting. It
Yeah.
would be interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely a couple thousand to 3,000 maybe. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sure. That's a good question. That was a good question. You should have warned me.
Yeah. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching all the way through. If you want to know more about Susan, check out her other videos. And if you want to support the channel, please like, subscribe, or share. Thanks again.